Hello, good evening all. Hope that I am audible. Some of you please reply whether I am audible or not. Okay, anyway, yes, okay. Thank you, Hiba, and thank you, Sachin. Yes, okay. So, it's me, Vismaya. We are going to deal with the second part of Aifer Final Lab. As I told you yesterday, second part of Final Lab aims at understanding certain important areas from each and every subjects of paper 1 UGC NET examination and the previous year questions that are asked from that area. So this is the way that we are going to look in this final lab second part. Okay. So today we are going to deal with, today also yesterday and today we are dealing with logical reasoning part. Today's topic is Indian logic, and from Indian logic we are going to talk about Pramanas. So how is this part of logical reasoning for you? Yesterday we talked about the categorical proposition and square of opposition, which is a game-like part, which is a very interesting part for some of them. And today this is logical reasoning. From logical reasoning, it is Indian logic, our own logic, India's logics, Pramanas, and certain terms and all. How are these terms and all for you? Is it comfortable or is it a rough topic? Please reply. Difficult, Ashwini. Okay. Yes, I think Pramanas is not much difficult as other parts of Indian logic. I think Pramanas is comparatively easy in Indian logic. There are certain other areas like that, anumanas and all are more difficult or more challenging than these Pramanas, I think. For me also, this Pramanas is not that much interesting, but it is not as difficult as it seems. Anyway, even if it is difficult or not, it's important to study for examination in an examination aspect, in NT and NET aspect. It's we cannot neglect this Pramanas and Indian logic part. So let's take a look at this Indian logic. In Indian logic, there are topics like Pramanas, Indian philosophy, structure and kinds of anumana, vyapti, and hetva bhashas. Okay. So we are only looking at Pramanas today. There are several questions from this part that we will discuss after a short analysis of the syllabus part. As I told you, this will be a quick recall and I will try my best to make you understand the concepts. Anyway, let's look at the meaning of the term Pramanas. What does this Pramanas mean? Pramanas is nothing but a way that we gain knowledge, a method that we attain knowledge. What type of knowledge? True knowledge. A knowledge which is true and valid, true and correct and valid knowledge that we gain through different methods is called Pramanas or Pramana. It's also known as Prama or Pramana. So what is it? It is a knowledge which has the property of true or valid or correct knowledge. Okay. Then there is an opposite term. What is it? Aprama. The opposite of Pramana. The knowledge that is not true, that is not valid, or that might be doubtful or defective. Okay, doubtful, defective or incorrect knowledge is aprama. So that's it. Pramana and aprama. Prama or aprama. Now we have pramanas to go in detail. That is, how do we attain this valid and true knowledge? How do we get this true knowledge? According to Indian logic. It's according to Indian logic. Okay. So in pramana, there are 6 categories of pramanas, or the 6 categories, 6 methods through which we attain a valid knowledge, or that are the sources of 6 sources of this valid knowledge. What are these 6 sources of valid knowledge? It's written there: pratyaksha pramana, anumana pramana, upamana pramana, shabda, arthapadi, and anupalapti. Okay, and what is this pratyaksha? Is also known as, or its meaning is perception. Anumana means inference. Upamana means comparison. Shabda is verbal testimony, and arthapadi is implication, and anupalapti is non-apprehension. It's very important to study the names or the meaning, correct English meaning of these each and every sources of pramanas. Okay, so do not forget the names or the correct names of these sources of pramanas. Okay. Now let's take a look at each of these pramanas. First one is pratyaksha pramana or perception. What do you mean by perception? And how and when do we perceive something? We know that perception takes place after sensation. Through sense organs, we gain knowledge and we perceive them. Perception is a mental process. It's an organization of what we gain through our sense organs. Similarly, in pramana also, the knowledge in pratyaksha pramana, the knowledge is gained through different sense organs. And what are the sense organs? We know that there are 5 sense organs: eyes, ears, nose, taste, and skin. Okay, through these sense organs, we gain knowledge from our surroundings, how we see, we touch, we hear, we taste, etc. So, pratyaksha pramana means it's directly through our sense organs. Pratyaksha or perception. So, perception takes place only after sensation. Sensation leads to perception or pratyaksha pramana. That is the first point. That is pratyaksha means a perception which is gained through our sense organs. That is the first point, and I think it's easy to understand. Next point is the 4 elements of this pratyaksha pramana or perception. What are the 4 elements? It has 4 elements. A human being requires these 4 elements to perceive something. According to Indian logic, these 4 elements are self, mind, sense organs, and object. See, in order to perceive something, first of all, we want an object. Then we want the sense organ to sense that object. Next, we want a mind and also a self. The mutual contact or the mutual interaction between these 4 elements leads to perception. According to Indian logic, pratyaksha pramana, these 4 elements are required for perception. So that is the meaning of pratyaksha pramana. I think it's clear. Then we have the classification of this pratyaksha pramana. Generally, pratyaksha pramana is classified into 2. What are they? Ordinary perception or laukika and extra ordinary perception or alaukika. Just understand the terms only. Okay. Just understand the concepts also. What is ordinary perception? That's not a new meaning or new term. It's what we told earlier. Ordinary perception means perception through sense organs from laugika. It's a Sanskrit term, laugika. Ordinary perception, perception using sense organs. Then what is extraordinary perception? See, in extraordinary perception, we do not want to go in detail. We want to just understand the term and its meaning, alaukika, that is extraordinary perception. That is perception other than from sense organs. Perception excluding sense organs. It's not gained through sense organs. Might be any supernatural knowledge or any telepathy experiences like that. Okay, whatever. That is the meaning of extraordinary perception and alaukika. Okay, just understand these terms only. Now again, this ordinary perception, as you can see, is again divided into two. That is external and internal. External is also called bahya and internal is called manas. Now what is this external perception? That's also a similar term. It's not an entirely new term. From the external environment, we gain knowledge using our sense organs. From bahya. Bahya means the external, the outside or the external environment. From the external environment, we gain knowledge using our sense organs like auditory, visual, tactual, gustatory, and olfactory. It's written here. Okay, that is external perception or bahya. Now, what is internal perception? Internal perception is innate from our mind. It includes the understanding of our feelings, desires, emotions, wishes, etc. What is internal perception? It includes the innate experiences, our mental experiences, such as feelings, desires, wishes, etc. So that is the difference between external perception and internal perception. That's also a simple term, and I think it's clear. Now this ordinary perception or the altogether external and internal perception is again divided into three. What are they? It's written here: indeterminate perception, determinate perception, and recognition. Indeterminate perception is also called nirvikalpaga or nirvikalpa. Then determinate perception is also called sarvikalpa, and recognition is called pratyaksha. What are they? What is indeterminate perception or nirvikalpa? Indeterminate perception, that is the opposite of determinate perception. It means that when we perceive something, when we recognize something, when we understand, when we mentally organize something, if we cannot determine or we cannot distinguish the features of that object, it can be called as indeterminate perception or nirvikalpa. Take an example. Wind. We know what is a wind. Do we know the color of wind? Do we know the shape of wind? Size of wind? No, right? So all a wind belongs to this category of indeterminate perception or nirvikalpa. Now, what is determinate perception? Definitely the opposite of indeterminate perception. It's easy. It's also called as sarvikalpa. When we can understand the features of an object, its name, color, shape, etc., we can call it as determinate perception. For example, the shape and features of a tree, a human being, a flower, a fruit, etc. We can easily recognize the shape, its features, its color, etc. So that is the meaning of determinate perception. I think the difference between indeterminate perception and determinate perception is clear for you. Next, we will go to recognition or pratyaksha. What is recognition? Recognition just means we recognize the object. We understand an object. What type of object? An object or something, any object or any features from external environment that we have already seen, that we have previously seen, and we recognizes it. Okay, it can be anything. For example, we know that an apple is a round shaped red colored fruit, and we saw an apple from our home. Now we are going to the market. There also in a fruit shop, you can see that a red colored round shaped apple shaped fruit, apple shaped object. Then we recognize it as an apple. It's nothing. The term itself gives the meaning. Recognition. You must just keep the technical terms in mind. That is recognition. Recognition is pratyaksha. Determinate perception is sarvikalpa, and indeterminate perception is nirvikalpa. Okay. So that's it. Just keep this chart in your mind. Pratyaksha pramana is divided into two: ordinary perception or laugika and extraordinary perception or alaugika. We do not want this alaugika in detail. Then this ordinary perception is again divided into external or bahya and internal or manas. Then altogether, ordinary perception is again classified into indeterminate perception or nirvikalpa, in which we cannot clearly distinguish between the shape and different features of an object that we perceive. And determinate perception means sarvikalpa, in which we can understand the details of an object. And recognition means we just recognize the previously encountered object. Okay, so that's it. I think it's clear. Again, perception is divided into another two terms also. These terms in Indian logic, just understand the terms and its meanings only. That's important. This is also a simple terms and simple distinction is only there. Pratyaksha or perception is divided into two again, direct and indirect. What is direct? As we told earlier, direct means something we directly gain through our sense organs, like smell, touch, vision, sound, taste, etc. Okay, direct perception. I think no need of any further explanation in that. And it's also known as anubhava or our experience, because we experience it physically directly. Then indirect perception or smriti. Okay, the knowledge that happens based upon smriti or memory. What is smriti? You know that smriti means memory. We understand or we perceive an object based on our memory indirectly. How is it? As I told in the previous example, like in the case of recognition, we remember the features of an apple, a round shaped red colored fruit. Then we can understand that when we see an apple again, we can easily recognize it. How is it possible? It's through our smriti or our memory. Okay, so that is the indirect perception. Just understand these two terms only, direct perception and indirect perception. That's enough. Okay. Now we have the next pramana, that is anumana. See, anumana is very important. We actually we need a separate in detailed session for anumana also. But here in just a classification aspect, I will just tell about this anumana. What is this anumana? Anumana means inference. Inference. In the case of anumana, we do not gain the knowledge through our sense organs. Then how do we attain knowledge? It's through assuming. It's through assumptions. We are assuming. The assumption process takes place here. Take an example. Suppose a person is crying in front of us. The person is continuously crying in front of us. What do we assume? What do we infer from that? The person might be in an emotional pain or in any physical pain, right? That is the meaning of that crying. So in that way, it's not directly, but instead we assume that the person might have an emotional pain or physical pain. It's another way in which we attain knowledge. So that is anumana. Then this classification of anumana is very, very, very important. Anumana or inference is classified into three: Purvavat, Sheshavat, and Samanyadoda. The spelling is like an R is there, but the pronunciation is Samanyadoda. What is this Purvavat Anumana? Purvavat Anumana. We infer, an inference. We infer the unperceived effect from a perceived cause. Here, what do we perceive? The cause, the reason is perceived here. And the effect of the reason is unperceived. Take an example. Suppose we can see a dark, heavy clouds in the sky. We can see dark, heavy clouds in the sky. What is that? That is a perceived cause, a reason, right? That's a cause. Then what do we infer from that? There will be rainfall. There is a probability or there is a chance of rainfall there. That rainfall is the unperceived effect. Okay. Purvavat, cause. We infer the unperceived. What is inferred here? The effect is inferred. Okay. The effect is inferred and the cause is perceived. Keep the example of this heavy, dark, heavy clouds and the chance of rainfall in your mind. Okay, that's enough. I think Purvavat Anumana is clear. Then what is this Sheshavat Anumana? Opposite of this Purvavat Anumana. Here we infer the unperceived cause. What do we infer? We get into an inference of the unperceived cause. From where? From a perceived effect. Here the effect is perceived. Effect is perceived. Okay. Suppose we are walking and we saw that heavy flood in a river. The river is overflowing or it's a flood. Then what do we infer? The cause of it. We infer that there was a heavy rainfall. There was a heavy rainfall. Here the cause is here we infer the unperceived cause. Here the cause is inferred. Okay. So we infer the unperceived cause from the perceived effect. The effect that the river is overflowing or the flood is perceived here. So that is Sheshavat Anumana. Just keep these two examples in your mind. Clouds and rainfall is the Purvavat Anumana. In that we perceive the effect. And in Sheshavat Anumana, flood and rain is flood and rain can be considered as an example. Here we perceive the cause from an effect. Okay. Next we have the Samanyadoda Anumana. What is this Samanyadoda Anumana? It's based on a certain similarity. Similarity between two conditions or two concepts. We infer something. Take an example. Suppose we saw a horned animal. We infer that a horned animal have a cloven hoof. Horned animal have a cloven hoof. Cloven hoof. So here we infer a coexistence between these horns and the cloven hooves. They are related. So when the next time we see a horned animal, we can infer that it will definitely have a cloven hoof. So that is Samanyadoda Anumana. Coexistence between two terms. So Purvavat Anumana, Sheshavat Anumana and Samanyadoda Anumana. I think that's clear. Next, we have the upamana or comparison. In this pramana, the knowledge is derived based on the similarity between two objects. The term upa means similarity and manas means cognition. Cognition based on similarity. How does this cognition based on similarity takes place? Take an example. Suppose a person do not know what is a squirrel. A person do not know what is a squirrel. How do we explain a squirrel to him? If it is me, I will tell like a squirrel is a small animal. It looks like a rat, and it has a long furry tail than a rat, and it has strips on its body. So I explained the image of a squirrel to that person. Now, when that person goes through a forest or somewhere, he sees a small animal with a long furry tail and strips on body. He or she can understand that, oh, this is that squirrel. This is squirrel. So it's based on similarity that we attain knowledge. That is upamana. Next, we will go to shabda or verbal testimony. As the term suggests, knowledge we gain through verbal knowledge from words or sentences. Is every knowledge that we gain through words or sentences correct? Are all those knowledge valid knowledge? No. This verbal knowledge or shabda should be from an experienced person or a reliable person. Take an example. In the case of vaccination, COVID vaccination, there might be certain people who says that vaccination is problematic. It will cause several issues and all. It might cause several physical problems and all. A layman talks like that. And an expert doctor says that vaccination is like this and that in a doctor's explanation, and it's for the welfare of the people. And he says in his own language. Whom do we believe? Definitely the reliable person, the expert, the doctor, right? So this is the meaning of shabda. We attain knowledge through verbal or words or sentences from a reliable person. Next, we have arthapadi or implication. Next, pramana. What is arthapadi or implication? It's based on a supposition or presumption. It's based on a supposition or suppose or presumption. Take an example. We assumes here. Okay. Take an example. Suppose a 100% healthy person is standing in front of us and he says that I do not sleep at night. We know that person is 100% healthy and he says that he do not sleep at night. Then what do we assume here? What is the arthapadi or what is the implication that we make from here? He might be or surely he will be sleeping in the daytime. Otherwise, how can he stay healthy? So this type of knowledge or pramana based on assumption or presumption or belief or assuming is called arthapadi or implication. Just understand all these concepts with in relation with examples. Okay. Next one and the last one is anubalabdi or non-apprehension. What is anubalabdi or non-apprehension? It means simply means that non-perceived things do not exist. That is something that we cannot see or sense. Something that we cannot see or sense does not exist. Suppose we are going to a classroom, and there are no students. Then we conclude that there are no students. That is, we do not perceive students So there are no students. This is logical reasoning. This is just for understanding only. Okay. So this type of perception or pramanas is called anupalapti. So we talk about different types of pramanas. Pratyaksha pramana or perception through direct sense organs. Anumana, inference. Upamana, between comparing different objects, and verbal testimony or shabda. Then arthapadi or implication, and finally anupalapti, non-apprehension. Now let's move to previous year questions. Some previous year questions. It's your chance now. Please actively answer the questions that are shown here. First one. The distinction between Purvavat and Sheshavat made with reference to which of the following pramanas? Purvavat, Sheshavat, Anumana, Samanyatoda, Anumana. Please answer. In which type of Anumana does it belong to? The options are like Anumana, inference, Pratyaksha, perception, comparison, Upamana, and Abhava, absence. Okay, you can comment in the comment box. Yes. Maunika says the answer is A. Nishadu says it is Pratyaksha. So A is there, answer B is there. Any other answers? Yes, Rani Elsa says it is A. Then Febin says it is B. There are two more options. Sharavana says it is A again. Hiba says it is B. Okay, we will go back. See, in Anumana, what is Anumana? I explained about Anumana. It's not through sense organs, it's through assumption. And this Anumana is classified into Purvavat, Sheshavat, and Samanyadoda. So the answer is option A. A is the right answer. Okay. Anyway, next question. Alive Devadatta is either in his house or elsewhere. Alive Devadatta is not in his house. Therefore, alive Devadatta is elsewhere. The above is an example of which kind of pramana? Is answer. This is the second question. Okay. So when you comment the answers, please say it as second one is A, 2B, like that. Then I can understand it easily. Alive Devadatta is either in the house or elsewhere. Alive Devadatta is not in the house. Therefore, alive Devadatta is elsewhere. Perception and inference, that is Pratyaksha and Anumana. Then comparison. Okay. We have D as the answer. Everybody says that the answer is D. Yes, D is the right answer. Arthapadi or implication is the right answer. Yes. All of you are correct. Next one, match the following question. First set we have perception, inference, comparison, and verbal testimony. And in set second list we have cognition, which comment the answers as 3A, 3B, 3C pattern. Okay. Cognition, which presupposes some other cognition. The knowledge of relation between a word and its denotation. Statement of a trustworthy person and consists in understanding its meaning. Non-erroneous cognition produced by the interaction of sense organs with the objects. Answers, please. Yes, answers are coming. B. Yes, A. Again, B. Okay, A. Anyway, let's see. The answer, right answer is option B. Okay. This is A. Perception. What is perception? That is the first one, pratyaksha pramana. Pratyaksha pramana. Non-erroneous cognition produced by the interaction of sense organs with the object. As I told you earlier, it's the knowledge that we gain through our sense organs. So perception is related to the fourth one. A is related to 4. Then what is inference? Inference means we infer something. Cognition which presupposes some other cognition. And comparison. Comparison means the knowledge of relationship. Its comparison is relationship. Knowledge of relation between a word and its denotation. And what is verbal testimony? The statement of trustworthy person and consists in understanding its meaning. Knowledge from a trustworthy person. That is verbal testimony. Okay, so the right answer is option B. And the next question. Fat Krishnadatta eats either during day or night. Okay, fat Krishnadatta does not eat during day or night. Fat Krishnadatta does not eat during day. Therefore, fat Krishnadatta eats during night. The above is an example of which type of inference? Answers, please. We have the options like, yes, answers are like C is there, A is there. Options include comparison, verbal testimony, negation, and implication. Yes, again A. Anyway, let's see. The answer is option D. Implication or arthapadi. We already explained what implication arthapadi means. And I think that's clear. If it is not clear, please watch the video once again. That part you can again watch it. Next question. The knowledge of a relation between name and an object denoted by that name is called. The knowledge of relation between name and an object denoted by that name is called. Okay. Letters are not clear. Which letters? Letters that I write or the options? Is the question is not clear or Rani? Okay, comparison. Yes, D. Increase resolution. Oh, sorry, I didn't get you. Okay. Okay, we will look it. Okay. Comparison is the answer because relationship, it's a relationship, right? Name and object relationship. So option D is the answer. Then here, next one. Which one of the following pramana is accepted in Vaisheshika philosophy? This Vaisheshika philosophy might be a new term for you, but this is an extension term. As I told you earlier, we have some other topics more in logical Indian logic. Vaisheshika is a school of philosophy in Indian philosophy. Which one of the following pramanas is accepted in Vaisheshika philosophy? Options includes pratyaksha, anumana, upamana, shabda, and arthapadi. Answers, please. Pratiksha and anumana. That is option A, right? Kevin? Yes, right answer is option A. Then this Vaisheshika philosophy means there are different schools in Indian philosophy like Vaisheshika, Mimamsa, Samkhya schools, etc. And all these types of pramanas belongs to certain categories of that schools that we will deal in a different session. So please understand and please clearly understand the concepts which I explained in today's session. There is a high probability to ask questions from this part of logical reasoning. So I think today's session is clear and it's time to, this is Vaisheshika school. It's time to end our session. I think it's clear and thank you all. Thank you so much. Before that, I want to make you remember once again that do not forget to subscribe our channel in order to get more videos which will be helpful for your preparation of UGC NET examination. Thank you all. Thank you so much.